Hi, my name's Paul Grogan, and in this gaming rules video I'm going to be giving you my quick and dirty review of Agra, published by Quined Games, designed by Michael Keller, and artist is Michael Menzel. Now, Agra is a game which came out at Essen 2017. It's the heaviest game that I brought back with me, I think 2.9 kilograms, and it's probably the heaviest Euro game that I brought back with me in terms of complexity of the game. I'd heard a number of things about this game before I'd played it, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it to let you know what I think about it. Well, I like it. Now, this game is quite a heavy game. It's probably at the upper limit of my heaviness, maybe even a little bit beyond it in a couple of places, but I really enjoy the game. Now, it can be a long game. Our first game was about 4 hours, but we were getting a rule wrong, which would have meant the game would have been faster. After that, 4-player games, we're looking at about 3 hours for us. I've played a 3-player game in about 2.5 hours. So yeah, it's quite a longer game by modern standards, but not like your 6 or 7 hour epic games like some of them. And it is very complex. The rulebook, there's a lot going on in there, but the rulebook is pretty clear. I had heard a couple of bad things about the rulebook beforehand. We learnt how to play the game from the rulebook, and although we got a couple of things wrong, they were because it was late at night and we'd been playing games for 3 days. The rulebook itself, very clear. I had no problems with it whatsoever, apart from a couple of minor little tweaks, but you know, rules-wise, it was all fine. Now, other things about the game. Components. There's a huge amount of them, and I'll show you some of them here. There's loads of these bits, and there's a big elephant. There's so much going on in this game. And you'll also notice the 3D board. Now, 3D board, I've heard lots and lots of bad things about this 3D board. So I've basically been told, oh, why is it at an angle? The pieces are they're cut so that they fit in, and basically don't knock the table, otherwise everything will fall over. I've played this game 3 times now. They've never fallen over. So when you look at it and you think, oh yeah, it's going to be a problem, but you know, I'm shaking this a bit. I don't want to shake it too much, but there you go. I'm shaking it. You can see that they're wobbling around. They're not falling over. So it isn't as bad as people have said. As I say, I've played it 3 times. The table has been knocked. They haven't fallen over. So components wise, it's really good. The elephant is really nice. Although it's a bit big, it kind of does obscure the space a little bit. Now, artwork and graphic design. Artwork's gorgeous because it's Michael Menzel. So of course it's gorgeous. Graphic design wise, the main area of the board that I'm showing you here, it looks really pretty. But the first couple of times we played it, it's actually quite confusing to see what's where, to see what resources are in what spaces. Now that I've played it a few times, it's not a problem for me. I can see that these are here and that these are here. But the rules say that when you put a worker on a space, you put it on the space itself. Well, the problem with that is you then can't see what this space is. So when we're playing it, we put the worker here, and then you can actually see it. So it is a bit hard to see what's going on in this area. I think it could have been done a little bit better. The other problem with the graphic design is, well, this is more the artwork, is you've got this resource here, which is planks, and this one, which is wood. Okay, you can kind of tell them apart. But then here you've got a pile of, I think this is cement. Down here you've got curry, and over here you've got dye. And they just all look a little bit similar, quite hard to tell apart. Also, strangely enough in this game, this is the brick resource, but you can't use bricks to build, which is very unusual. You can only use sandstone and cement to build because that's what the numbers are here. Oh, and also wood and these planks. But you can't use bricks to build, which is a little confusing when you're trying to explain it to players. Anyway, so yeah, the icons are a little bit too similar. Another slight downside of the components is these markers here, the gold ones, which are used to indicate the type of delivery that you can make. So you can't make any of these. You can only make the ones where the marker is. Well, the problem is, I mean, it's gold, which is thematic. That's nice. But it looks a little similar to this yellow one. This would have been better if it was black, so it really stood out as to which one you could deliver at that time. So we were playing a 3-player game and we were using the yellow pieces as the neutral pieces, and it was really hard to see, you know, where the gold marker was at that time. Minor thing, but it still bothered us a little bit. Now, the gameplay, I'm not going to go into the rules of the game, but the game is all about creating these advanced resources because there's multiple uses for them. Once you've got these advanced resources, you want to be playing them on the notables here, because then when you've filled the notable up, you get the card and that'll get you bonus points and whatever. You're also trying to fulfill these orders which are shown on here. So you've got to collect the 2 things that are shown there. And also it's the king's birthday, which is what the theme of the game is, forgot to mention. And you're trying to deliver things up here as well. So the game is all about getting these advanced resources and either shipping them to notables or putting them on this board here. Now, I'm going to do something that I've never done before and I'm probably never going to do again, and that's list something as a good point of the game and a bad point of the game. So the good point of the game is because these advanced resources are so important, there's got to be multiple ways in the game to get them, because otherwise if you get screwed on one bit or blocked out of one bit for some reason, at least you've got many other ways in which you can get those resources. The downside of the game is that there's too many ways to get those resources, and that's why it sounds unusual that I'm saying it's a good point and a bad point. I can see why it's in there from a game design point of view, that there are multiple ways to get the thing that you need, but I played this game with a couple of people and they were like, hang on a minute, there's 5 different ways that I can do this one thing that I need to do. And I can see that that'll be somewhat overwhelming. So getting the advanced resources, you can build the buildings and then you can move the things along the path. You can improve them that way. You can use favour, and I haven't mentioned favour, but favour is a thing that you can get in the game. It's like a resource that you can spend, and you can use your favour to do an upgrade. There's meditation in the game where you lie down your workers and get meditation points. They do all kinds of things, but one of the things meditation can do is, you guessed it, it can improve resources. And then there's also the trader. When you go and see the trader, it basically allows you to swap some resources for other resources. So there are so many ways in which you can transfer one resource to another. I don't know whether it's too many or not. You know, if you cut one of them out, suddenly the game might not work. So there is a lot of ways to do it, and some people found that a little bit overwhelming. One part that I really like about the game is the way that the resources work on your player board here. So without going into too much detail, you have these 4 farmers, I think they're called, and there are the 4 basic resources. So whenever you use one of the main action spaces on the board, so say I was to use the cotton action space, you count the number of empty spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I generate 5 cotton. Now in the game, you can move these farmers around. So for example, if I was to produce sandstone at the moment, I only get 1 because there's only 1 empty square. But during various actions that you can do in the game, you can move these farmers. That will mean that I now get less cotton, but I get more sandstone. And you can also remove these X markers. So by doing that, you basically adjust the amount of these basic resources that you will produce during the game, and I just really like this mechanism. Overall, Agra, played it 3 times, 4 players and 3 players. I do want to play it again. I think the game's got a lot of legs. It's at the upper end of the heaviness scale of what I like playing, but I have really enjoyed my games of it. I find it quite rewarding. You know, heavy games, when you put in all that effort to learn it and play it, I do find it rewarding when it all plays out. So anyway, that was my very quick and dirty review of Agra. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And until next time, take care and thanks for watching.